Growing on LinkedIn is a game, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to beat it. Now, these exact steps that I'm going to show you have grown me to over 30,000 followers on LinkedIn, generated multiple millions in revenue for my businesses, landed me speaking opportunities and sponsorships, all through the power of LinkedIn content. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name's Nicholas Kirchner, and I'm the co-founder at Hydra. We're a management consulting firm for advertising agencies, helping them scale revenue and profit. I'm a 3-time agency owner, and I exited my first agency at 21. So I know a thing or two about growing businesses through content. Now, the problem is most people are still treating creating LinkedIn content as an afterthought, or they're cross-posting from Instagram or from YouTube or other platforms, and they're not creating for LinkedIn specifically. Now, I actually believe that LinkedIn is the #1 growth opportunity over the next 12 to 24 months because they're not as mature with their content creation capabilities and influencers on the platform as Instagram, TikTok, etc. In fact, LinkedIn users are consuming 44% more content year over year. Also, 89% of B2B marketers list LinkedIn as the #1 platform that they're using to generate leads. And 62% of those say that it's effective at generating leads for them. In fact, 40% of B2B marketers report that using LinkedIn for lead generation is hands down the most effective channel to generating new business. So how are we actually going to create content that gets businesses coming to us for our services instead of us having to go to them? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to break down in this video. So without further ado, let's get to it. All right, so why is LinkedIn the best growth opportunity over the next 12 to 24 months? Well, firstly, we're able to target active decision makers, which means these decision makers are actually going to be able to look at our content versus us publishing it and no one seeing it or it falling on deaf ears. And no one wants to put in effort and not have your content actually get seen and read. The second reason is because of positioning and thought leadership. There's no other platform that's more conducive to you establishing your expertise than LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is actually where the buyers are. There is intent, and people are on LinkedIn to do business. Just go back and listen to some of the stats I just rattled off. Around over 40% of people say that LinkedIn is the #1 place that they get high intent and high quality business from. Now, you can see here some of the caliber of people I'm connected with. Now, this isn't to brag. Any of you watching this video could go over to LinkedIn and connect with these people as well. But where else are you going to get access to the CEO of Southwest Airlines, Wendy's, Mattel, VF Corp, P&G, HubSpot, Unilever, Coca-Cola, GE Healthcare? These are the largest companies on earth. And at any moment, I can send a message to them, have a high likelihood of it being read, and actually have them see my content in their newsfeed, right? So no matter whether you're targeting Fortune 500 executives, D2C founders, affiliate partners, or any other niche, it does not matter. There's no better place to get decision makers to see what you offer and read your DMs. So what does the LinkedIn organic content funnel actually look like? Well, we're going to get our posts discovered in the feed. People are going to see that. They're going to visit our profile. We're going to move the conversation to the DMs, and then we're going to close the meeting. So that's exactly how we are going to do this. Now, if you're not familiar with how to do this, I'm going to link another video down below that I did on Sales Navigator that's going to allow you to understand exactly how to use it. Long story short, though, we're going to use this to connect with our ICP and actually get them to see our content. And we want to build a following of these ideal clients. And we're going to do that by sending about 200 connection requests per week instead of 100 without Sales Navigator. Now, the second tip is going to be sending these connection requests blank. We see a 30% lift in sending them blank versus sending those connection requests with a message. We're going to easily add 25 new connections or followers per day that are in our ideal client profile using this strategy. Now, the hardest part about showing up consistently and creating content on LinkedIn is knowing the right things to talk about. So I'm going to give you 6 content pillars that attract new clients like a magnet. And the first one being lessons and learnings. So what I want you to be thinking about is what are you seeing across your clients' ads, their emails, their creative, their lead gen processes right now? What strategies have you tested and what were your results? What trends are you seeing across the industry that you actually serve? Now, it doesn't matter what niche you're in. you can simply fill in the lessons and learnings that you're seeing. And you can also include, what do you believe is coming in the future for your niche, right? AI right now, very hot topic. No matter what niche you serve, you can easily integrate that in to the content and things that you're learning. Now you'll notice on each of these pillars, I'm including the AI helper. And this is the prompts that I use to be able to get AI to give me this specific pillar. So I would crowdsource your internal strategy or client reporting meetings, transcribe them and upload them to your model of choice, whether it's Claude or GPT, to deliver learnings from what you and your team is seeing. This is how we can generate a lot of great content ideas from conversations that are already happening. The second one is going to be client conversation. So think about when you take a client through your onboarding, their service delivery, and reporting process. What kind of questions are they asking? How long should I expect to be waiting to see results? How long should I expect before seeing results? What should we be testing next? What should our budget distribution look like? Should we be thinking about distributing content on this platform or that platform? And what we're going to do for this on the AI side is find our external strategy or reporting meetings, transcribe those and upload them, and deliver learnings from what your clients are asking and how you're responding. Now, the reason that this is valuable is because your existing clients are going to be talking about things that your prospective clients are probably wondering as well. Number 3, hot takes. Now, this is one of my favorites because it's okay to ruffle some feathers here. And this just reinforces your positioning in the market. So what do you disagree with the market on? What do your competitors do that you don't agree with? And you can see a couple examples here on my side, right? My hot take is that offering guarantees on any kind of professional service is a quick way to devalue your work, attract needy clients, and be expected to deliver on unreasonable timelines. So I'm not a fan of offering guarantees. That's a hot take. You can see that it got pretty good engagement here. Same thing with my other one, saying no one cares how hard you work. And I'm a big believer that it matters more what you spend your time on versus how hard you're working. These things might be hot takes to some, maybe not to others, but regardless, they spark a meaningful conversation and reinforce who I am and who's a good fit to work with us and who is not. Next, build in public. So how'd you get to where you are today? Why are you building what you're building? What did you have to overcome to get here? Did you lose a client recently? Did you win a new client recently? Did you make new hires? What are you paying attention to right now in the marketplace or in your own business? Now, building in public gives you an opportunity to be vulnerable. And let's face it, everyone knows that your business isn't perfect. Everyone knows that you're not perfect, but we just don't vocalize those things. And honestly, on LinkedIn, the creators that get the most interaction and get the most business are the ones that do actually share a little bit of the human side and bring people inside of the journey of building their business. So building in public, definitely a great content pillar to include. And how you can get AI to help you with this is documenting what you do or complete on a daily basis, highlight the successes, the failures, what could have gone better, and then have Claude or GPT write stories based on what these events were. Next, case studies, okay? Case studies are the best way to demonstrate results that we're getting, demonstrate our competency, and explain our thought process. So you can see a case study template here on the right-hand side that I'm actually going to link in the description below on how to write a perfect case study. But these are the types of pieces that are going to get you clients, right? We're proving our competence, we're explaining our numbers, and we're showing that we've done this a bunch of times before and we could do it for them too. Lastly, lead magnets. These are the 80-20 of opening up sales conversations through LinkedIn organic content. Now, this is the primary method that we use to book qualified appointments as well through our content. And I get 3 to 5 times the amount of followers and call bookings than other weekly averages when we post lead magnets. So you can see this one was around your client onboarding process. I'm saying it'll make or break your churn rate. And you can see that I got over 1,000 people opting in for this specific lead magnet for me to send them a ClickUp template. Well, everyone who opted in here, shocker, has probably client onboarding issues or improvements to make. And it just so happens that our business helps agencies streamline their operations and make it better. So this is a great lead magnet that's conducive to attracting my ICP and actually getting those sales calls booked. Now, what's LinkedIn's next bet? Well, I've been creating on LinkedIn since 2019, so in some form, and albeit not consistently, but LinkedIn had a video season back then in 2019 and chose to deprioritize it and we're seeing text and image become dominant again. However, this year, LinkedIn introduced a video feed, and I believe it's becoming a big focus for LinkedIn again. And reach was easy. I fully expect that eventually this will be saturated just like every other platform like Instagram and TikTok, but it's still easy to stand out with video on LinkedIn. And I recommend repurposing all 6 of the content pillars that I just went through to go ahead and actually create into videos. Next, research. I really love this Chrome extension called Clio, and I use it for research and inspiration. So I can see what posts are popular across a specific creator, along with trending posts from the last week. I can also filter by content type and engagement as well. So what am I going to do with AI on this? I'm going to say, take this creator's post, and based on my writing style that I trained you on, based on my most recent posts, rewrite this into a completely unique content piece. And Clio allows me to sort by popular, recent hits on this day, or creator spotlight. So it's definitely something you're going to want to look into. Next, carousels. Now, carousels are a great way to visually break up your content that typically would read more like a long form paragraph, which doesn't do super well on LinkedIn. So Post Nitro AI is a really cool tool that allows you to go ahead and make carousels from your content in just a few minutes. And this would typically take 30 to 45 minutes a carousel, but now it just takes a few minutes. And I'm going to go ahead and link this in the description down below. Don't have an affiliate link or anything like that, but definitely recommend you check them out. And what you're going to want to do is export this as a PDF, as LinkedIn has disabled traditional image carousels. All right, so let's talk about copywriting for LinkedIn. Your hook is over 90% of a post success on LinkedIn. And what I want to show you here is, for example, with this one, when I'm on the phone with a prospect, I always book the follow-up meeting on the call versus waiting to follow up via email to get a call booked, right? Wordy, not a great hook. I reposted that and went from 12 likes to 61 likes by saying our discovery to pitch rate increased 200% by doing this one simple thing, right? And this even had less impressions and it got more, like 5 times the engagement. Also, this one, you get paid in direct proportion to the difficulty of problem you solve, one of my favorite quotes from Elon. And then I transition that to want to make more, solve higher value problems for your customers. And you can also see the difference in impressions and engagement from that. So you will see by changing your hooks, you're going to have a lot more success. Next, the post framework. So how it actually reads matters a lot. So we just went through hooks. Now we have story, solution, result, and CTA, or HSSRC. Now I want to add a story to each post so I can show how it's been relevant to me. All right, people don't want to hear lessons or learnings if it's not relevant to you. Now, after the story, I'm going to go into the solution. So I'm actually going to give them the answer to the problem that I positioned in the hook, right? So in this one, it was referrals sound boring, but they're incredible at printing high quality clients. Here's how to go about doing that. So after the solution, I'm going to give the result, and then I'm going to give the CTA. So actually land the plane and tell people what's the takeaway from this post and an optional CTA. For me, this was a question CTA. Have you tried this referral strategy? You could also do linking out to a resource in the comment section. Something like that would work as well. Formatting your content. So the name of the game is having a conversational, logical bullet point framework. So you can see that this allows someone to skim this post and still get the key takeaways. So I want you to avoid lengthy paragraphs or clumps of sentences and make sure they're conversational transitions. Write your ad copy, or write copy like you're writing a Facebook ad or an email, not a blog post. Which brings me to recycling. So when it comes to creating content, you're probably like, oh my gosh, how am I going to make all of these well-crafted posts? How am I going to ideate all of this? The reality is every 60 to 90 days, I recycle my content. And I do this because 90% of the success lies in the hook, meaning that changing your hooks are going to make this appear as a completely unique post. Because unless someone clicks see more, they're not seeing anything under that. So it's likely that your post didn't even get read. Also, month over month, you're going to have a much larger following who haven't seen your content before, and only 10% of your content is going to be seen by your following regardless. So what is my recycling framework? Well, first, I'm going to make the original post. Second, I'm going to analyze what did well and what didn't. third, I'm going to rewrite the post. And then fourth, I'm going to repost the revised piece of content. Also, lastly, no one remembers your content from months ago. From how much we consume, how much we're scrolling, all of that, no one remembers your content and they're not holding it against you. Now, one of my favorite ways, so now that we know how to actually create good content, how do we keep it organized and make sure it gets distributed? Well, I use ClickUp to not only track what I am posting, but what I need to refresh my hooks on, what I need to recycle, and how well the content did, along with the content type. So you can see how I've organized this here in ClickUp. Doesn't matter if you use this or Asana or Notion, all of them have a similar view to this, and I do suggest that you use it. Okay, so now that we know how to post, what to post, how do we scale up our engagement? The first tip I have is don't post and ghost. So the first hour after posting, don't just close out of the platform. Camp out for 30 minutes, respond to each comment that you're getting with something meaningful and follow-up questions. This is going to help boost the reach of your post significantly. Secondly, commenting is currency. LinkedIn's main engagement metric is comments. This gets posts seen by your second and third degree connections, meaning people that you're not actually connected with. Now, I will say LinkedIn operates a little bit like a clique as well. Most big creators are only going to be commenting on other consistent creators that are commenting on their stuff. So give to get. The more you engage, the better your results are going to be, and ultimately the faster you're going to grow. Also, my EA comments on my behalf about 1 to 2 hours a day, which equates to about 50 to 100 comments a day. And I do this by keeping a spreadsheet of creators that I actually want to engage with. That way I know when they're posting, what they're posting, and I can be on top of it. Also, make sure you're leaving meaningful, thoughtful comments and actually adding something to the conversation, and try and get a top comment. If you're leaving an AI reply, that's lazy and is not going to get really acknowledged. Also, post times matter. Try and get there as close to the post time as you possibly can. So, turning engagement into deals. How to work the DMs. And we're going to be talking about lead magnets here. Like I mentioned earlier, lead magnets are our favorite way to open up the DMs, and your prospect opted in because they've got this constraint in some form or fashion. So I'm going to ask more details. What led you to get this resource? I'm going to ask about their goals, and I'm going to ask about their current strategy in reference to the resource. So for example, I'm asking this person what their biggest challenge in getting from where they are to 60K months, right? They mentioned getting a good team together is their issue. Then I'm transitioning it into a sales conversation, and they were interested in it, and they actually went ahead and booked a discovery call with us to help them get this solved. So you can see how I took a lead magnet and actually turned it into a sales opportunity. The next strategy is going to be messaging new connections. So you're going to be sending 25 connection requests a day to our ICP, and we can actually go ahead and message those people. So appreciate the connection name. As a heads up, I post content here every day. Hope to see you in the comments. Also, I recently put together a resource, so you'll plug in a lead magnet here, on how to get new clients on LinkedIn for your agency, or how to scale your D2C e-commerce brand, or the 5 email flows that every D2C brand needs. Whatever niche you have or are in, you can just plug that in here. And if that'd be helpful, let me know. Would be happy to share with you. Either way, glad to have you here. So, walking away from this video, what is your prescription for growth? Well, the only way it's possible to be consistent is to have a measure of what your success looks like down to those activities. So my daily workflow looks like 25 connection requests a day. I post at least once a day. You or a VA comments for 1 to 2 hours. And I send 5+ personal DMs a week to network with other creators. Once again, getting them to comment on my content as well, and repeat for 12 months. Now, when you do this for 12 months, I can assure you that you're going to be getting a lot more inbound leads than you've ever gotten before. Now, when you do this for 12 months, I can assure you that you're going to be getting more leads than you've ever gotten before from your social content. Now, I can assure you that you're going to be getting more leads if you repeat this for 12 months. And it turns out that LinkedIn works when you do. And I've included a few screenshots here just from our community of private clients. And I can see here, and LinkedIn works when you do. And I've just included a few screenshots from some of our private clients at Hydra, but you can see people are landing $7,500 jobs. Just landed a new client from LinkedIn, right? Organic calls booked through LinkedIn. And it turns out LinkedIn works when you do. I pulled in a few screenshots from our private community at Hydra, and you can see people are booking dozens of meetings through LinkedIn. Now, if you consistently implement just 20% of what you learned, I can guarantee you're going to be seeing more sales calls on your calendar. So if you like this video, please drop me a like. It helps a ton. Go ahead, leave me a comment if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next video.